Aoki is a classic type T, or thrill-seeking personality. What drives such a person? The biological basis of thrill-seeking behavior may involve arousal, as reflected by heart rate, skin temperature, respiration, and perspiration.
One possibility is that the type T, or big T, that is the risk takers and thrill seekers, may be under-arousable. They may be, in a sense, harder to arouse. At the other extreme, the small T, the the people who tend to seek fewer thrills or take fewer risks, there, one possibility is that they are over-arousable. And therefore, the small T people are attempting to reduce the amount of stimulation coming in, to structure it, get control over it, and not have too many uncertainties and loose ends and too many variables there. The big T, the risk taker, however, are seeking stimulation because they're under-aroused. They want to raise their arousal somewhat, and so they're out there seeking stimulation.
Another theory proposes that those who seek out intense stimulation have an imbalance of the brain chemical monoamine oxidase. This has been implicated in some forms of depression. Excitement seems to change levels of the chemical in people, producing a feeling of exhilaration. Thrill-seeking behavior can be either constructive or destructive. Rocky Aoki nearly ended up a thrill seeker in the negative sense.
I was a street fighter. I fought all the time, especially with my brothers. I fight till blood comes out so much, and my father or my mother stop it. Then we all go to the hospital. They took me to the hospital, took my brother to the hospital. Somehow, I love fight. After, for a while, I wanted to do something else instead of fighting. So I became a marathon runner, then became a wrestler. Then I stopped fighting completely. I became a very good wrestler. That's why I came here with a Japanese wrestling team to the United States.
If a youngster is a type T kid, I think that the environment is essential in determining whether that child goes off in the T positive direction or goes off in the T negative direction. And to what extent does the family, the peer group, the community, the school, and so on, all of the forces that impinge on a child, to what extent do those forces provide opportunities for sort of healthy stimulation seeking, constructive, positive? And if they can't or won't, then these kids will seek stimulation on the negative side. Running away is very stimulating, very exciting. Gang behavior is tremendously exciting. And so there's pretty rapid gratification on the T-negative side of the street.
Jerry Levy is a risk taker in the positive sense. He's a volunteer firefighter in Tenton Falls, New Jersey. On this day, he's just making sure the equipment is in good working order. But at other times, his job is much more dangerous. Levy recently discovered that he shares this commitment with an identical twin he didn't know existed for 32 years. Although separated at birth, Levy and his brother, Mark Newman, have remarkably similar interests, habits, and personalities.
Oh, you are ugly in the morning. What's up?
Not much. Well, aside from the same noses, the glasses, the bald head, I've always worn my keys on my belt on my right-hand side. I always have a knife with me.
Same. Our voices, mannerisms, the way we throw our heads back when we laugh, our pinkies underneath a glass or a beer can or a soda can or whatever.
TV shows.
The twins also have similar employment histories. Both have driven trucks. Levy studied forestry. Newman worked in the field.
I think only 4 or 5 things that don't agree on or aren't alike. He smokes, I don't. I used to, but I quit.
Redskins.
Dallas Cowboys.
Redskins.
I like some music or
country western.
Rock and roll, but we both like each other's, styles. Just our preferences are different. Everything else. Our IQs are the same within, I think, 1 or 2 points.
He's a little more tolerant with chefs that don't know how to cook than I am.
I've got more patience than he does. What else? I have to
I'm
pay my
punctual,
bills.
he's not.
Whoa, no. I'm the one that's punctual.
No,
You're the
you
one.
said you said you were coming down at 9 o'clock this morning, and it wasn't until almost 10 o'clock you got here.
But I was punctual.
A group of psychologists have studied Levy and Newman and other twin pairs who were reared apart. The researchers have concluded that identical twins have uncanny similarities because they have exactly the same genes.
At the University of Minnesota Twin Study, we have been administering personality questionnaires to identical and fraternal twins, both reared apart and reared together. And what we've just found from a major personality analysis is that identical twins raised together are as similar as identical twins raised apart across 11 different personality scales. What this is suggesting is that the basis of personality similarity is in one's genes and not in the environment in which one is raised. From our analyses, we've determined that approximately 50% of the variation in a population in personality is associated with genetic factors, with the other 50% being associated with environmental factors. Now let's take Mark and Jerry for example. Both were volunteer firemen, an activity that requires some degree of risk. Certainly there's not a gene for becoming a volunteer fireman, but when you consider that being a volunteer fireman has certain requirements, such as being unfearful in certain situations, being somewhat altruistic, wanting to help people, a lot of these different types of characteristics are genetically influenced at some level, and so put all together, you might eventuate in a genetic influence upon what people typically call risk-taking behavior.
I believe that one of the important mechanisms whereby the genes affect our personality is through the environment. That is to say, the kinds of experiences we have in life, beginning in the nursery, are going to be determined in part by our genetic tendencies. A fussy, squalling infant elicits different kinds of reactions from the parent than does a happy, smiling baby. A little child who is adventurous and energetic and impulsive is going to have a whole set of different experiences, climbing and falling and being punished and so on, than will his placid, calm sibling. When they get off to school, the adventurous child is going to seek out the kinds of experiences that appeal to his adventurous nature. The timid child is not going to have those experiences. And so, beginning very early on, genetic differences shape and determine the sorts of environments we have.
Furthermore, no individual develops and grows and flourishes without an adequate, nourishing kind of environment. The real task, it seems to me, in the future is to try to figure out what environments are best for fostering various kinds of traits for which individuals may have dispositions.
I think that bringing twins together really underlines in a very dramatic way the importance of family. Mark Newman expressed it very nicely when he said that meeting Jerry and being with him after 31 years simply felt like his brother had been away on a vacation. Certainly the brothers had to fill in various life events that had happened to them over the 31 years, but the basis for the relationship, the rapport that the brothers felt, was almost immediate.
Canned SpaghettiOs for dinner again. I've had a couple close calls in the fire service where I shouldn't be here, but I'm still here, and it makes you wonder if it was. I hope it wasn't just to meet him that I'm still here. Hope there's something better in my life coming up.
God.
But it does make you wonder about that. I always believed in destiny that nothing you do to a degree can change the way your life's going to go. And I guess we were just destined to meet.
Research that indicates there is a genetic basis to personality has stirred up controversy. Critics argue that it's not possible to assess accurately genetic and environmental contributions to personality. They also find fault with claims that babies are born with biologically determined traits because the implication is that possibilities for change are slim. The nature-nurture debate no doubt will carry on as well-meaning parents do their best to raise kids in this complex and confusing world. For Innovation, I'm Jim Hartz.
Innovation is produced in Newark, New Jersey by WNET 13.